people, and welcome to my channel. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see everyone here. I see Jill. Hello, Jill. Welcome. Hi, Nan. I'm so glad to have you here. Welcome, and welcome everybody else who is watching now live or in the replay. This is going to be really fun, and I just want to say, if you are new here, we really love the engagement. So if you're live and you have a comment or a question or just want to chat with anyone in the chat, please feel free to do that. We are here, and that's why we do the lives. So also, if you are new here, I'm Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach. I'm living a whole food plant-based lifestyle, sophos-free, gluten-free for health and well-being. And living this way literally gave me my life back because I suffered through many illnesses and diseases, including I was bedridden for 14 months. And I just truly believe that eating this way can help. I mean, it can help you. And so that's why I'm here with you today. So anyways, I am excited to talk to you about one of the most powerful and versatile foods in the plant-based world, lentils. For the love of lentils. Oh my gosh, these tiny little legumes have been nourishing people for thousands of years, and they're still one of the most important staple foods around the globe. So I just want to say hello to Core Scorpy. Hi, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I got a comment. I love that necklace. I do too. And I was just talking about trying to remember the stone before we got on here, but I will put it close and see if anybody might be able to check that out. Lisa's in the house. Hello, Lisa. It's so good to see you. Welcome, 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 everybody. So I've got so many fun bowls of lentils to play with in front of me, and we're going to cover so many different things. So we're going to be covering what lentils are, how they grow, the different types of lentils, their incredible nutritional benefits, how they compare to other foods, and how you can enjoy them in your everyday meals, as well as some ideas we'll talk about of what to do with them, right? So I just want to start with a question, and I'd love to hear some responses from you guys. So how many of you have eaten, or you still eat, lentils? How many of you could say, you know, I do, yes, or whatever. And then if you do eat lentils, what kind of dishes do you use them in? So go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll check that out really soon. So let's see, how many of you eat lentils? I can tell you, just a little cheat, I do. and how many dishes do I use them in? We're going to talk about some of them a little later on. And Todd, if you want to share, I know he's in the background putting his hand up. Do you eat lentils?
I do eat lentils. And the dishes I use them in are bowls and plates and maybe a cup.
I love that. I love that. So we're looking forward to hearing what you guys say. And I'll just take a pause here. Of course, Scorpy says, oh, it looks like green calcite. Yes, yes, I believe that sounds familiar. And I'm going to say that you're right. And let's see. Jill says, I do. I eat lentifuls on potatoes. And Core Scorpy says, raising my hand, I eat lentils too. I don't have a specific question. And that is perfect. And that's a great example of us just hanging out together, and you don't have to have a specific question to just tune in and let us interact together. So if any more people want to go ahead and put your answers in while that's happening, I just want to remind you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you could please hit the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you, because I appreciate that and I don't forget it. Last thing, if you want to learn more or get special discounts or offers on products that I use and love, or just learn more about what's happening in the whole food plant-based world, go ahead and subscribe to my monthly newsletter. And you could do that by visiting my website at thejenniferdiamond.com. Okay, so I know we looked at some of the chat already. Todd, is there anything else about how many of you have eaten lentils and what kind of dishes you use them in?
Lisa says, I like to add lentil sprouts on my salad.
Ooh, we're getting fancy right off the top here. Lentil sprouts, and we're going to be talking about that in a little bit as well. I love that. I love that you do that, Lisa, and everybody else who may have shared about lentils. So, okay, I'm just going to start by saying that when I was growing up, we never had lentils in our home that I could recall. In fact, I don't know. I don't think I knew what they were until I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And then I was finally introduced to, drumroll, Progresso lentil soup in the can. How many of you are familiar with that? And of course, I'm sure it had lots of sodium and oil, and I don't even know what else. And what's really funny is that I used to have it with egg and onion matzah, these big crackers, and I used to smother it with, I mean, let's be truthful, country crock butter. Oy. And it wasn't really butter, but that's what I used to do. And that was what I remember as being introduced to lentils. But I loved it so much. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I started to learn how to cook with them the actual healthy way. And now they're a major part of my regular diet, our household's diet. And, if you're somebody that's like, what is country crock? Well, first of all, I'm going to say I am proud of you. That you don't know what that is. But just really quick, it's a vegetable oil spread, primarily composed of water, soybean oil, palm kernel oil, and palm oil. That's some of the things that we saw listed on there. It also contains, of course, salt, vinegar, soy lectins, I think, natural flavors, whatever that means, coloring, like beta carotene. So while I still don't eat that way myself anymore, it is made from a plant-based oils rather than dairy like regular butter. But I would say there are better ways to enjoy your lentils. Okay, so let's talk about what lentils actually are. And I just want to say hello to Bernadette. You are in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, just joining. And I am so glad that you were able to join live today. Thank you so much. And welcome to our chat. So lentils are actually edible seeds. These are like edible seeds, and they come from the legume family, which also includes beans, peas, including soybeans and chickpeas, and peanuts. You might be saying peanuts. Yes, peanuts are not really a nut. And I have mentioned that before, but if you haven't heard me, I just want to say again, even though there's the word nut in its name, they're actually a legume, which I thought was interesting when I first became aware of that. So lentils grow in pods, just like peas. Let's show some pictures because I don't have any real lentils growing in pods, but I wanted to show you. Let's see, you're going to show that picture. How about the one below it? There you go. Okay, so this picture shows the pods where they have just like 2 in there at a time, you can see. And then these are some other different versions of how they grow. But you see the lentils in the middle there? Just got the 2 little guys. So there's a lot of work to get these guys out of there. And so lentils have a scientific name called lens culinaris. And interestingly, the word lens, like a camera lens, comes from the Latin name for lentils because of their unique round shape. Now, I have different versions sitting here in front of me, but I am going to just take some. I want you to, if you're not familiar with dry lentils, I just want you to see how they kind of look like a lens, and they're just kind of flat and round and these are raw. And so, but when you cook them, we'll talk about later which ones hold their shape and things like that. But that's kind of what that looks like. And so lentils actually are one of the first crops ever cultivated by humans. And there's evidence of lentil consumption that's dating back around 9,000 years to the Neolithic period, where the first signs of agriculture and human settlements were found. Wow, right? Lentils were a key part of ancient diets in the Middle East, the Mediterranean, and even parts of Asia. And they're even mentioned in the Bible. So there. Lentils were found in Egyptian tombs even. Now, I thought that was interesting. Like, why would you want to do that? Somebody passes away or you're putting it in their tomb and they're like, wait, let's put some lentils in there. Well, that was because they were such a significant food source, particularly for the elite or the wealthy. So they were included as provisions for the afterlife. So what does that mean? That they were just included in the tombs to provide necessary or desirable items that they could bring into the next life. So if you've ever heard of that, I thought that was interesting. Now, today, lentils are still a dietary staple in many parts of the world. They are super affordable, easy to store, which we love about that, and absolutely packed with so much nutrition. So, okay, guys, here's a question. Does anybody know how many types, and I'm not saying how many varieties, I'm just saying how many types of lentils there are? So, and if you don't know, you could say I don't know, or better yet, take a guess. And while you're putting your answer in the chat, we're going to talk a little bit about how lentils are grown and how they're harvested. Well, lentils prefer cool weather, which is like our winter. And that's like approximately 64 to like around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And what is that, 18, I looked it up, 18 to 30 Celsius. And if I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me. And they're typically planted in the spring and in normal weather, like I just said, in the winter, because our temperatures in the winter are between 64. Well, they go lower, but wherever you are, that's that temperature. And they usually, majority of places, it's the spring. You want to plant them in the spring, and then they would harvest them in the late summer or the early fall in typical areas. So you can plant lentils directly into the ground, like that. I don't know if these would work, but if you order some that are meant, the seeds probably look the same. I have not tried that yet. I would try that, but you can order them through special places like Baker Creek and things like that. Or you can get starters where they're already little plants ready to go, and you can plant them that way. And they thrive in well-drained soil. You want to plant them about 12 inches apart if you're doing it by seed, and with full sun. They love the sun, but only for about 6 hours a day. At those temperatures, they love that. And they need about an inch of water each week. So you have to be careful not to overwater these cute little plants if you want to give it a try at home yourself. So lentils are a great crop for sustainable farming because they help fix nitrogen in the soil, reducing the need for chemical fertilizers. Oh my gosh. It's so important to have nitrogen in our soil. And I'm just going to take a quick second here to remember when Todd and I were traveling about 5 or 6 years ago to Italy, and we stayed in an organic farm. We were learning about their rotation of crops and how they never used any fertilizers, and they used beans. I don't know if they were specific to lentils to rotate to make sure that nitrogen and other things were in the soil. Did you want to say anything to that, honey?
Nope.
Okay. So anyways, that's something just to think about when you're planting. Okay. Lentil plants, they grow on average to be about 16 inches tall. So a foot is 12 inches. So, That's a pretty good size. What is this, about 16 inches tall? And they produce the pods that we just showed you the pictures of, and they usually each contain 1 or 2 lentils. That's like once the plant matures, then it dries out, and then it's harvested. Now, if you're doing this at home, you might be thinking what I was thinking is, I'm going to get 2 lentil beans in 1 pod. I'm going to be doing this forever. But, there are mechanical harvesters and even some smaller versions that you can get for home use to help with that. But at any rate, yes, you got to work hard. So really give them the love they deserve. The seeds are then separated from the pods. Once they're dried and harvested, they're cleaned. And if there is any more moisture, then they would be dried again. They typically can be harvested. It only takes about 70 days once they're planted in, if you water them correctly in the sun and everything. If you're harvesting at home on your own, like I mentioned, it can be very tedious since each pod usually only has 2 lentils. Oh my gosh. So let's see. Are there any other photos that we wanted to show right now? No, I think there is another photo, but we'll show it in a little bit. So let's see. Did you know that lentils are a zero waste crop? Yeah, that's right. Not only are the seeds edible, but the plant's residues can be used as a green manure to fertilize the soil for future crops. So I love it. I love it. And the biggest producer of lentils today are Canada, India, Turkey, Australia, the United States, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. So, but not all lentils are the same. So before we get into that, let's check the chat and see, does anybody know how many types, not varieties, but types of lentils are there? Or you can guess. What do we have here, honey?
Of course, Scorpy guessed 11.
Nice.
And Jill Caperton said too many to count.
Ooh, okay. All right. And then she also has a question. Are the pods edible? No, you want to use that to like re-put back in the garden. They're not edible, that portion. You'll just want to eat the actual lentil itself. So good question, everyone. Okay, there are you ready? 4 primary categories of lentils. So although each category may have numerous varieties, that's why, and too many to list, we were just wondering what those primary categories are. And those are the brown, which I don't have any in front of me, but the brown is a category. The green, which is this guy right here. There's an orange, or I'm sorry, not orange, red. This just looks orange to me, this particular one, but it's like the red lentils. And also the yellow is considered in the same category, these two. And then there's the 4th category is specialty. And so I wanted to talk about specialty a little bit, Todd. Because I was saying, well, is specialty like these black ones here, or what exactly do would you put in the specialty category? And we were starting to chat about it. And so I want to ask if you want to share your thoughts on that.
Specialty category is any lentil that is not brown, green, or red, yellow.
Okay. All right. So I guess that would be this one. There's also another lentil. There's many other kinds of lentils. You want to show that picture? Even though we haven't spoken about the name of this one yet, and we can bring it back up, but this is a lentil we're going to talk about. There's also like the French lentils and different lentils like that are in different categories. But the 4 main ones, you can go back now, like we said, are the brown, the green, the red, yellow, and the specialty. Okay, so question. Lentils are super nutritious, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But can anyone guess what they're higher in than most any other legume and bean? What are they higher in terms of nutrition? Okay, let's hear it. All right. So while you're answering that one, don't look it up. Just put your answer in or your guess. Come on, then it's more fun. And we'll continue talking about the types of lentils. So I want to get into it a little bit. So the brown lentils, these are the most common and widely available type of lentil. They're a medium size. They come in shades, different shades, ranging from a light brown to a dark earthy brown. The brown lentils, they have a mild earthy flavor, and they hold their shape fairly well when they're cooked, although they do soften over time, or if they're overcooked. They're incredibly versatile, and they work great in things like soups and stews, veggie burgers, casseroles. Of course, those are whole food plant-based ones. And if you're new to cooking lentils, then brown lentils are the perfect place to start because they're usually really easy to find and cook reliably. The next one I want to talk about is the green lentils. And I feel that way about the green lentils. They're easy to find as well. And for me lately, I'm finding that the green ones are even easier to find than the brown. But regardless, these lentils can range in color from a really pale green to speckled green gray. And they're often larger and flatter than the brown lentils and have a slightly peppery kind of flavor. If I were going to think of a flavor profile for it, one of their best features is that they hold their shape better than most other lentils. So that is really perfect for certain dishes where the texture matters. You want it to hold its shape. You want it to have that texture. Then the green lentils are ideal for things like sprinkling over salads, side dishes, lentil tacos. That's the ones that I really like. Or any recipe where you want individual lentils, like I said, to stay intact rather than turn mushy. Now, the green lentils do take a little bit longer to cook, but the extra time is worth it. And it depends on how you're cooking it. And we're going to talk about that later as well, because they're like in the Instant Pot, it doesn't really take that much time more than the others. Now, red lentils. These actually kind of look orangish to me, because look at these. These are the same one, and I bought them a different day, and I could pour them out, but don't these look kind of a different color? Oh, it's hard to see. Maybe I should pour these out. But if you want me to pour them out, I will. I don't know. They just seem brighter. And that's just part of what we were talking about. You can get different variations of colors. But the red lentils are actually hulled, and then they're split. And what does that mean? So that means that their outer skins have been removed. And that means they also cook much faster. Red lentils range in colors from golden to orange to deep red, and they usually have a really mild, slightly kind of a sweet flavor for a lentil. Red lentils break down quickly into this soft, creamy texture. So that makes them really perfect for blended soups or stews or purees, right? Curries, dips. There's an Indian dal that's a dip that you would want, to be creamy. And I showed, the green ones. I want to show these for a second, and I'll even put these, I'll take a little bit of these just to kind of show you the difference in size on the hulled ones. I don't know, can you see that okay? And then these are a little bit larger, and they're not hulled, and they're not split. So there you go with that. Now, we're going to go into the yellow ones. The yellow ones are a little bit larger than these red. I want to just show that too. Can you see that? Oh, I wish there was a way that we could zoom in a little bit better. One day we're going to have to figure that out, honey. But these are the yellow ones, and the yellows are similar. I'm mixing them, and hey, maybe that's okay. I'll just put this aside for now. Okay, and I'm back. Here I am. I got a little carried away. So yes, the lentils are similar to the red lentils in that they are hulled and split, and they cook down into a soft consistency as well. They have a mild nutty flavor, and they're popular in Indian, Middle Eastern cuisines as well. You can find that yellow lentils are also perfect and can be used in soups, dal, stews, and they're even good for thickening sauces. So I love that idea of using a whole food to thicken some sauces, because the yellow ones, like the red, will, they're softer. And so that's, they're not going to hold their shape the same way. Now, they're great when you want that creamy texture, like we're talking about, because you don't have to worry about adding dairy or any fats. Okay, who's heard of black lentils? I've got some right here. These are called the black beluga lentils. These are really fun, and they're like little round circles. Look at that. Let's see. Can you see that, Todd, or should I come closer? Okay, whoa. These black lentils, the beluga lentils, they are part of that specialty lentil category that we were talking about earlier. And these tiny little lentils, they're shiny, and they're jet black in color, almost kind of look like caviar. I am not suggesting you have that. I'm just saying. But there's a reason why they're sometimes called beluga lentils, because beluga is like the caviar name, I believe. And they have a really rich, earthy flavor, and they hold their shape very well, these black ones. The black lentils are perfect if you want to have elegant dining salads or beautiful side dishes. You could use it for stuffing your vegetables. I love the idea of the different colors, thinking of bright colors or greens in the vegetables, and then having these beautiful round black lentils in there. They're often used in gourmet or fine dining recipes, and that's because, like I said, they have this beautiful appearance and rich taste, and plus they are slightly higher in antioxidants. That's a really nice bonus, and I'm not surprised, right? Because whenever we have high antioxidants, we usually have the deep, rich colors in our food, like the wild blueberries, the different onions and things that are the purples or the different darker colors. Okay, now we're going to put that other picture up. It's puy lentils, spelled P-U-Y. Puy lentils are a specific variety that I don't have here, so I wanted to show you a picture, but they're actually a variety of the green lentils, and they're grown in Le Puy region in France. Yes, I'm probably messing that up. Give me a break, people. No. Anyways, they're smaller and darker and more speckled than the regular green lentils that we talked about and that you see right here. And they have a slightly peppery, mineral-rich flavor. And I don't believe that I've tried those. But maybe one day Todd will take me to France. Anyone want to come and we can go on a hunt to...
We could probably get them at a grocery store that's closer.
Come on. It would be a fun trip.
All right.
Let's just fantasize anyways, right? Okay. They also are ones that hold their shape that are the best, I've heard, out of all the lentils. The puy lentils are amazing for salads, cold dishes, side dishes, any recipe where the presentation matters. And they're slightly more expensive, but their firm texture and refined taste makes them worth it for special meals. So if you want to splurge on some lentils and you can find those, or you're in France, I would say give it a try. Okay, so let's just take a second to check the chat. What are lentils higher in than any other legume or bean? What do we have here? Ooh, Jill says iron. Crystal, hello, Crystal, welcome. Protein. Nice. Okay. Anyone else? What do you think, Todd?
I read the...
I know, but didn't you think before?
I would have thought protein.
I would have thought protein also, because that's what I think of when I think of beans and lentils. Okay. So here we go. And Jill says, I have some. Oh, you do, but I haven't eaten them yet. Oh, okay. Well, when you try those, French lentils. Please let us know your thoughts, and I would love to hear. That would be fun. Okay, so Lisa says protein. Okay, so a couple proteins, an iron possibly, and we kind of were in the same ballpark. So lentils, let's talk a little bit about them. They're low in calories and high in fiber and protein. Hey. Here's a snapshot of what you can get in with 1 cup of cooked lentils. So they're about 230 grams calories, 230 calories, and protein, they're about 18 grams. Okay, that is almost as much as like 3 eggs, back in the day when people were eating eggs in this plant-based world, and maybe you are, but I'm talking about myself, but with 0 cholesterol. So that's really cool. If you're looking to swap that out, then that would be the equivalent. 40 grams of carbs, mostly complex carbs. There's less than 1 gram of fat and 15 grams of fiber. So lentils have more fiber per cup than many other popular vegetables. So 15 grams of fiber per cup in the lentils versus like kale, which is a superstar. And, there are different categories, but we're just talking about different vegetables that are popular. Kale has 2.6 grams of fiber and broccoli 2.6, also spinach 2.2, slightly lower, and collard greens 3.6. Now, those are all vegetables in the green, I love my greens family, but still they're in the vegetable world, and we wanted to just kind of compare them. That's why they're separate, and it's good to mix them all. But in terms of micronutrients, lentils are rich in iron. Yes, Jill said iron with a question mark, and you are right too. Everybody seems to be right so far. Now that's 3.3 milligrams per cup. So that's 20% of your daily needs, according to what our recommendations are here in the US. Folate, nearly 90% of your daily value, 90, you guys, essential for DNA synthesis, especially if you're a pregnant woman. Magnesium, oh my gosh, magnesium is an amazing mineral we need, and it's so important for muscles and nerves and bone health. Potassium, another great mineral. It's great for heart health and blood pressure regulation. And then there's zinc, copper, and manganese, not magnesium, because we already said that. Manganese, all support immune function and metabolism. So they're also packed with, we just mentioned the antioxidants, and those are like the polyphenols, which we talked about, I think a week or so ago, and the flavonoids, which help to help fight inflammation and oxidative stress that's in our bodies. They're just amazing. Lentils truly shine when you compare them to other beans and grains. They offer more protein, fiber, iron, and folate per cup than most common legumes. And I'm talking like chickpeas, black beans, which are superstars, and kidney beans. Now, while soybeans are higher in protein and iron, another one, they also come with more calories and fat. So that's why it makes the lentils a more balanced choice for many people. And compared to grains, and this is not, I say compared to, but sometimes I feel like it's not comparable because it's in a different category, but compared to grains like quinoa and brown rice, lentils easily surpass them in nutrition density. I personally like mixing those two together. Then you're like superpower, right? And it offers more than double the protein and fiber in the same serving size as having the brown rice and those grains alone, alongside with significant more iron, which keeps coming up. And I just want to say hello to Vegan Inconsistency. Wow, welcome. Glad to have you here. Okay, so lentils are also an exceptional source of folate. They're providing about 90% of the daily recommended value in just 1 cup serving. So more than any other legume. Folate Or what is folate? Like a vitamin B9 is essential for red blood cell production, DNA synthesis, and cell growth. And it's especially critical during pregnancy, which if you're my age, you're not worrying about that. But if you have family members that are younger children or grandchildren, it's important to maybe know that. Unlike folic acid, which is the synthetic form, did you hear me? I'm going to repeat that. Folic acid, which we see a lot in different processed things. Folic acid is a synthetic form that's found in supplements and fortified foods. Folate from the lentils is natural and it's readily absorbed. So choosing whole plant-based foods like lentils ensures that you're getting these vital nutrients in their most beneficial form straight from nature, you guys. So what does all this mean? Oh my goodness. It means that lentils are one of the most incredible nutrient-dense plant foods that you can ever eat. I say ever, but just eating is great because they, like, I'm going to just say what we already said, they're low in calories, lower than soybeans even, and yet higher in fiber and iron than most other legumes, and far more nutrient rich than grains. So I'll share that lentils are so nutrient packed that during World War II, they were used as a meat substitute due to their protein content. Why did we go back? I don't know, but that's interesting if you didn't know that already. And with all these incredible nutrients, it's no wonder they're so good for you. There are a ton of published research papers that show how lentils can support things like heart health. Lentils help lower the LDL, which is the lousy cholesterol levels, and they reduce blood pressure. The fiber, potassium, and magnesium all work together to support your cardiovascular system. Really cool. Blood sugar control. Lentils have low glycemic index, meaning they digest slowly and they prevent blood sugar spikes. Some people, that's something that you need to watch for. And if you don't need to watch for it, it's just kind of good to know. Weight management. The fiber and the protein in the lentils makes you feel full and satisfied or satiated. So which can help reduce overall calorie intake because you're not looking for something else to eat. You're already full. Gut health. Lentils act as a prebiotic. That means they're feeding the good bacteria in your gut and supporting your digestion. But like anything else, there are some things that you should know about lentils. The high fiber content, it can cause gas, it can cause bloating and stomach upset cramps, especially for people that are not accustomed to a high fiber diet. And that's because the lentils contain the FODMAPs, which are a fermentable carbohydrate that can cause digestive discomfort in some individuals, especially those that have like irritable bowel syndrome, or that also known as IBS. So just start out slowly and add them in over a longer period of time. You don't have to go 0 to 1,000, right? So don't go for a cup, even though we're talking in terms of a cup. You can start with a half a teaspoon or go to a tablespoon. It's very, very forgiving if you allow your body to slowly get used to having something that maybe it's not. Now, the raw lentils, like what I have here, can be mildly toxic, and they should not be eaten uncooked. So do not eat uncooked lentils. Raw lentils, like many legumes, contain an anti-nutrient and a naturally occurring compound that can interfere with your digestion and nutrient absorption. It can interfere with it. And then in some cases, it can cause illness. It can cause discomfort. And when I say raw lentils, I mean raw, like I just opened, these bags right here and just like pop a mouthful, into my mouth. No, you don't want to do that. That's something that you don't want to go there. But if you're eating and living a raw lifestyle, or you just want another easier way to digest them, then you can try sprouting them And we will talk about that in a little bit. And I know that Lisa mentioned that she added sprouted lentils to her salad. Now, I will show you in a little bit. Well, I'll just show you right now. I have some that are ready to go, and I'll open it and show you, and we can talk about sprouting because it's really easy and it's just another way to do things. Okay, lentils contain phytic acid, which can hinder the absorption of certain minerals like iron and zinc. So I always am watching my iron. And so, yeah, I want to be on the lookout because I want to make sure that what I'm ingesting is being absorbed the best that it can. Now, if you soak and cook the lentils, that can reduce the effects of the phytic acid. And while it's rare, lentils, allergies can occur. So if you're allergic to other legumes, then just like anything else, you're new to lentils, maybe just don't start with the big bowl. Like I said earlier, try the tablespoon or work your way up to a cup. And let your body adjust. Now, of course, if you have any feelings or discomfort or any kind of reaction, then please go and seek some help from your trusted medical professional or allergist or somebody that knows you. And if you already know and you want to try it, then I would get it cleared first because you don't want any problems. Okay, so let's check the chat because then we're going to get into a fun part of cooking and eating them. And so anything going on in the chat that we should refer back to? Let's see. I see some stuff going on here.
There's a lot from Vegan Inconsistency about cholesterol and glucose and all kinds of stuff. So
wonderful. No questions?
None yet.
Okay, so here is a question then. How do you normally cook or prepare your lentils? I do it all kinds of ways. Let me hear what you do. Put it in the chat. One thing about dried lentils especially is if you don't have the time to soak them overnight, that's okay because lentils don't require soaking like beans if you're doing dried beans, which is actually amazing because you could just rinse them and then they're ready to go. And but some people still like to soak them, and that's fine too. And so, if you wanted to cook them on the stove, you would put it in water, like the brown or green lentils, boil them for about 20-25 minutes. The red or the yellow, 10 to 15 minutes. They are, hulled, remember, and split, and so they don't need as much time, and they will, of course, soften quickly. And the black category or the pouillet lentils, those will go maybe 25 to 30 minutes. It depends on so many things, but you get an idea. So I like cooking them in the Instant Pot. And so I'm just going to share a little bit about how you would do that if you want to try it and you haven't. So with the red lentil, there's, the dry cooking time where you just rinse it 10 minutes on high pressure. And that's usually like 1 to 2 water ratio. So it would be 1 cup of the red lentils and 2 cups of water. But if you were going to do that and you had soaked them, then the time is cut in half, 5 minutes on high with a 1 to 1 1/4 water ratio. And then you can cook them for 6 to 10 minutes, depending on if you like them more al dente or a little bit more soft. The green lentils, if it's dry, the cooking time is 10 to 12 minutes on the high pressure. And that's like 1 cup of the green lentils to 2 cup water ratio. And those, if you soak them 5 minutes on high pressure, 1 to 1 ratio. And I'll just share a couple more. The yellow lentils, dry cook time, 12 minutes. When I say dry, of course, we're rinsing them and cleaning them. 12 minutes on high pressure with a 1 to 2 water ratio. So 1 meaning 1 cup of the yellow lentils and 2 cups of water. And that soaked time, 5 minutes on high pressure, 1 to 1 ratio. And the last one I'll say is the black lentils, dry cooking time, 10 to 12 minutes on high pressure with a 1 to 2 water ratio, or the dry cooking time, 5 to 7 minutes on high pressure with a 1-to-1 water ratio. I find that those work really well for me. I used to soak my lentils a lot, but now I just rinse them unless I'm sprouting them, and that's a different category. But you can see that they vary in cooking time just a little bit with the Instant Pot, but not by much. And okay, lentils can triple in volume when they're cooked. So a little bit goes a long way. All right, anybody answer our question? Todd, how do you normally cook or prepare your lentils? Let's see. Anybody say anything? No. Okay, well, maybe you don't want to cook them. Good news. You can probably find them in your local grocery store in a can or a box. I have these organic, no salt added black lentils. You just, they're cooked. They're all ready to go. The thing that I would recommend you do is check the label and see how much sodium, like this one says no salt added, but I don't always trust the front. Always go to the back, to the label, and see the ingredients, and then you'll really know. And here it says prepared organic black lentils and water. And you might find other ingredients that maybe you're trying to stay away from. So if you're going to buy them ready to go, that would be what I would recommend. Okay, so earlier I mentioned sprouting. I just want to touch that, and then we're going to get into cooking a little bit. I personally love to sprout my lentils and other beans. Sprouting lentils is a simple, nutritious way to boost their health benefits and make them easier even to digest. I found personally that when I sprouted my lentils, I had an easier time personally. So when lentils are soaked and allowed to sprout for a couple of days, their nutrient availability increases, especially with vitamin C, B vitamins, antioxidants. While the compounds like the folic acid that can inhibit the minerals absorption, that gets reduced. So sprouting lentils is also tend to be easier on the digestive system, like I shared how it is for me. And it can be eaten lightly cooked, or for my raw friends out there, yes, just sprouted lentils can be eaten raw, just how they come. You can add them fresh, crunchy texture to salads, wraps, bowls, anytime. And they're an excellent way to enjoy lentils without cooking them fully. Okay, so real quick, I just want to show you, I have this little kit here that I use. And like I said, I have some already in here. It was kind of a mix. But do you see how they have these little tails on them? That's how I know they're ready. Now, this isn't just lentils. This is a mix. But what I do is I see, I've got this little bag here. This one is meant for sprouting. It's organic. It says green lentil, red lentil, and French lentil. I might just take, 1 or 2 tablespoons and go ahead and pour it in here. Fill this, cover it with water and let it sit out for 24 hours. Some people, 12 hours is enough. Rinse it, and then you'll just start rinsing it for a couple of days and let it drip this way, and then you will have your lentils ready to go, okay? So some of my favorite things that I like to pair with lentils are garlic, onions. I'm so into rosemary right now. Rosemary, cumin, turmeric, tomatoes, lemon juice, all kinds of fresh herbs. I just love it. So you can use lentils to make a whole bunch of dishes like we had talked about earlier. And it's just amazing. They're so versatile. Even lentil veggie burgers, which we have sometimes in the freezer and have enjoyed. So I just want to mention I've got a couple videos here on my channel where I use them to make mini lentil bread loaves and pizza crust. So I've got a link in the description so you can watch those if you haven't. And it'll be after the live is finished, right? And so I actually want to show you that I have this. This is the lentil pizza crust. I had it in my freezer. This is lentils and spices, and it's amazing. And it's just a pizza crust. So I wanted to show that. It's so many fun things that you can do. And then cooked lentils last, like say 5 to 7 days in the refrigerator, or you can freeze them for up to 3 months. But honestly, I tend to freeze things longer. Okay, let's make a recipe. But before we do that, are there any questions or anything?
You do have a couple questions.
Okay, let's go.
Let's start with this one.
Okay. Oh, okay. How can I make lentils for a potluck that everyone will be happy with? Wait till you see this recipe. I bet I've got one for you. But, you know, I think that even trying like the pizza crust or the rolls that I have would be a big hit. But lentil soup is amazing. I mean, how can you go wrong? As long as you add spices and herbs and seasonings to your dish, you can't go wrong. What am I thinking of? Oh, what is that Indian dish that I sometimes make? It starts with a K. Do you remember? Khichdi.
Yes.
Khichdi. That's a really good one with some rice. And so maybe you could try something like that. Hopefully that was helpful for you.
Crystal has another question.
Sure. If I soak dry lentils overnight and then cook them on the stove without high pressure, will they be more nutritious? Well, I think that they probably would. And so go ahead.
They probably will because the act of soaking them will reduce the phytic acid, which is what will inhibit the absorption of minerals like iron and zinc, etc.
Honey, I'm so proud of you.
I watch a lot of your videos.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, I thought it would be fun to do something different with lentils today. And, you know, we talk about the pizza crust and the soups and the stews and all that, but I thought it would be fun to make a chocolate lentil muffin. What do you guys think? A dessert with lentils. And these are all whole food, plant-based, SOFAs-free and gluten-free. They're really tasty muffins. Okay, so these are gonna make, this recipe is gonna make 6 standard size muffins. So if you want more of them, then be sure to double the recipe. And so I'm going to talk about what we need here, and then we're gonna get some going here. Any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, I see. Lisa says I made Jennifer's lentil pizza crust, and it was delicious. Yay, Lisa! I kind of remember that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just going to move these out of the way right here. And then we are going to grab some ingredients, which I have on the side here. And we are going to be using an appliance. So I encourage you, when the time comes, let's do a dance party, okay? So, so what we're going to do is we are going to use the food processor for this. And the ingredients that we're going to use in here is going to be things like dates, and of course our superstar. So I already measured some of this stuff up. This is a cup of cooked red lentils. I cooked it this morning. You can cook it, you know, when you're ready. You can cook it the day before, it doesn't matter. But measure it once it's cooked, okay? So 1 cup of cooked red lentils, if there's any liquid, you would drain it. But there wasn't when I cooked it the way that I shared in the Instant Pot.
Vegan Inconsistency has a question.
Oh, sure. Do you actually eat the plants in that bowl, or are they for show? I love that question. I love that question. The plants in the bowl, I eat. They're fresh. They are either from farmer's market, natural grocer, grocery store, Sprouts, or we grow them in the garden. And right now it's so hot here in Arizona that nothing is really growing. There were some little tomatoes, we already ate them. But yes, I absolutely eat everything out. And this is a small display because I wanted to put all the lentils out. But I do it because I want to encourage people and show what I'm eating for the week, right? Of all the beautiful colors and things that we can eat. And so would you Say yes, I eat this.
Yes, you will definitely eat that.
Thank you for that great question. Okay, so let me move this out of the way so we can just talk about the ingredients for a minute. Okay, so we've got the lentils. We are going to have a large banana. You want it really overripe. The riper the banana, the sweeter the banana. And so we're making a dessert today. So we're going to want to get it either very spotty or really, really brown. And I tend to sometimes have them ready and I don't have something to cook or make with. So I put them in the freezer. And if yours is in the freezer, you can still use it. Just take it out, let it thaw. I'm just removing this organic sticker that I didn't see before, but you're going to want one large overripe banana. If you don't have a large one, you could do 1.5 medium or whatever. Now, the next thing we're going to do is a flax egg. If you're not familiar with the flax egg, it's to replace the egg. It's to be a nice binder. And we're going to do 1 tablespoon of fresh ground flaxseed to 2.5 tablespoons of water. Now, I did this before we got on. I really encourage you to grind it up as you go fresh. Buy it in its whole form, but you need to grind it. Otherwise, it just passes through you. So this is already measured. How I ground it, I used this little coffee grinder that I bought specifically for herbs and flaxseed. So that's how I did that. And then I did measure out 2.5 tablespoons of water, but I also have these dates that I've been soaking. So if you're like me, it's fine to use this water. Either way, I like to use the sweetened water, but since I already pre-measured this and I didn't measure that one, I'll use this because I thought about it after the fact. And then you just want to mix it up. We'll just get a little fork here. Just want to mix it up and then set it aside and see how it's like watery, but we'll give it like 5 minutes and then it will be ready and it'll be kind of like gel, like a gel or like the consistency of an egg. And so that's what you need, 1 flax egg. And then you need some dates. And like I said, these have been soaking. They were frozen. You don't have to soak them. I like soaking them because when I'm mixing them up, it really allows me to go ahead and get it like nice and like smooth, you know. Sometimes if I don't mix them up and they're soft, you know, that'll work too. But there are other times when I freeze them and then they're kind of hard. And that's definitely an indication that I need to go ahead and soak them. And what I am doing while I'm talking is just cutting them open and making sure that I take out these little seeds in here and what I call the buttons. Some of them have these little pieces on there, and that was what was connected to the plant. Now, I love this, so I would use this because it's sweetened, you know, date water. I'll use it in anything, including smoothies. So I'll put this aside, and let me just finish the ingredients, and then we'll take any questions or comments here. Let me rinse my fingers. Okay, whoops, I better get my veggie towel. All right, then we're also going to want let's see, we're going to want this guy right here. 1/3 cup of unsweetened cacao powder. I also like carob powder. There are different flavors. I really like the carob powder because there's no caffeine in it, whereas this does have a little caffeine. So it's up to you. They're both great. I also have a video that we did all about the different chocolate powders you can check out. And then you want to go with a baking soda. And I use also vanilla bean powder. So this is a teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda. And I believe you can also get sodium-free as well. So that's even better. And then I have a teaspoon of vanilla bean powder. Vanilla bean powder is a stronger flavor than vanilla extract. You can go with 1/2 teaspoon. It's a pricey product. You would still do fine. If you don't have vanilla bean powder and you want to use the extract, then I would do the full teaspoon. I prefer to use the bean powder if I can. And then this is optional because this is going to taste great just how it is. But I also like to use the whole food plant-based compliant chocolate chips. And I have 3 tablespoons here. So 2 of them we'll put in the muffin batter, and then 1 will be for decorating. And I'll just show you what I have here right now. I like the Hue brand, but I also love these Just Dates. And I have 2 different ones here. They're date sweetened chocolate chips. So I'm going to show this one so it doesn't spill. And here's what it is. And it says Just Date sweetened organic dark chocolate chips. Only 3 ingredients, vegan, no sugar added. And there you go. So you don't have to add this. Enjoy is another one that people like to use. Uh-oh, Remy's chatting. Okay, so before we go any further, I want to check the chat and see if there are any questions or anything. Are you, do you see any questions? I do see Bernadette says, your displays are always beautiful. Remy is here in the house, if you can hear him. Thank you so much for that nice compliment. Vegan Inconsistency says, are you a raw dieter? You know what? I like to eat a lot of raw food, and I also like cooked. So I love to eat my food in both forms, and I love sprouting. Lately, I had been playing around with more raw foods, but no, not 100%. I definitely love a big, gigantic raw salad and other raw things. I love green smoothies and sprouted broccoli and all the different beans that we talked about. And so thank you for that question. Jill says, Jennifer's mostly raw. Yeah, but I still love my cooked potatoes and things like that. Okay, so question from Mona. Hey, Mona, I didn't see you earlier. Welcome, sweetie. Is the recipe going to be in the notes?
Yes, we'll put it in the description.
Or is it going to be on the website, is what we usually do?
Yeah, we could do both.
Okay, we will put it on our website. And I guess we'll also put it in the description so you can get it either way. And that's why I also verbally shared it in case anybody wanted to write it down. But great question. Thank you so much. Bernadette says, I use date water to sweeten my tea sometimes. Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, you can use it for anything that you would normally put water in, which is great. Vegan Inconsistency said, is the raw diet to prevent toxins released from cooking or to get more nutrition due to the heat sensitivity state of some nutrients, or both? Well, I was trying to heal my thyroid, and so I found that it was more nutrition. It was not being cooked out, but I think that it would depend on the person. And you know, of course, I wasn't worried about toxins as much as I just wanted to get as many nutrients to be able to be absorbed in my body. So there you go. Okay. Okay. Mona says, Jennifer's potato pizza. Yay. Okay. All right. So, and last question here is, or is it because you prefer taste of raw? I just prefer whole food, plant-based eating. I do love the taste of raw food that comes from the plant in its natural form. I also do enjoy cooked food. So like, you know, I personally love a good pizza. This is cooked, but I've also had non-cooked pizzas that are great, also made with zucchini and different things. So it's not a preference of taste. Okay. All right. So we are going to now get busy, okay? Because, okay, so I'm going to do this in the food processor. I'm using the S-Blade. It's so simple. All we're going to do is take all this stuff, and except for the chocolate chips, we're going to just dump everything right in here. So there goes our cup of beans. And I am, let's see, and here is our vanilla bean powder and our baking soda. Okay, and don't forget, what did we have in here? The flax egg. Look at this. If you're not familiar with it, see how it's, watch, how it's kind of, I mean, it's a little soupy, but it is much thicker than it was when we first started. I've got the cacao powder. I'm using cacao this time. I love carob, but I decided to use cacao. I try to rotate. Here are the beans. Here are the dates, our sweetener. Get those guys in there. And then the banana. And you can take the skin and you can put it in a compost. This one looks like it's got a little bruise on the bottom. I'm okay with that. In it goes. All right. So, like I said, we are not going to add this right now, but we are going to get the food processor going. And Todd, are you going to join me in a dance party?
Maybe.
Okay, so before we get that going, I just want to say you would want to also preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Of course, we made the flax egg together, and then you want to get a muffin tin. I have this silicone one right here, or you want to get these muffin liners, or you can just use these by themselves. And you, if you double the recipe, it would make 12, but this recipe makes 6. And then we're just going to combine everything, and we're going to blend until it's smooth. And then we are going to be back to stir in the chocolate chips. Okay, so if you're new here, I encourage you to get up and get crazy. If you're in an office, tap or move your hips or something. Anytime I, use my appliances, I like to use that opportunity to get a little dancing on, and when we're live, we can't add the music, but you can hum or sing in your head. And I also like to wear these ear protective. I want to hear for a long time my music. Come on, Todd, come on in. Come on, say hello. Here we go. Remy's gonna dance
Remy's
too.
Gonna sing in the background.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, and I see Kiko's here.
Hi,
Welcome.
Kiko.
Okay, ready? Oops, you gotta plug it in.
I'm kind of ready.
Gotta plug it in.
I feel like I should stretch.
Yeah, stretch.
For like a half hour.
Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to plug it in. Okay, Remy, you're okay. All right, ready?
I'm kind of ready. Remy's ready.
I got chills. They're multiplying.
I came in here just for this.
Losing control. Cause of power. You're supplying. Woo! It's electrifying.
Oh, I assaulted a leak.
I love you. Oh! Did I go the wrong way?
I don't know what you're doing, but it's fun anyway.
Better shape up, cause you need a man. Oh, let's go in a circle.
Oh, in a circle?
Yeah. Cause my heart is set on you.
You want to do another circle the other way?
Sure.
All right.
Better shape up.
How long does this go?
I'll check it now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And I'm always winded, and I think that's great, and it feels good.
There, I hope you're all happy now.
Okay, I think we're good. I could lie and say we're not, but we're good. Thank you, sweetheart.
Oh, you're very welcome.
All right, check the chat. See if anything happened. Woo! I am winded. Did you dance with us? I'd love to hear it. It's so great. It's just so great to get the blood pumping and all of that stuff. Okay. So I am going to take a tablespoon of the optional chocolate chips and just set it aside. And I'm going to take the rest of this and pour it in here. Actually, I think I'm going to take the blade out, because you don't want to, blend in the chocolate chips, because you would want them, I would think, for texture, because you already have that nice chocolatey flavor. Okay. And so I just do everything right in here. It's really simple. One thing, so you've got this in there, and I like to put 2 tablespoons and mix it in. You can skip this part. You could add a little more. It's totally up to you. But here we go. And then what you do is you take your pan that you're going to use. I'm going to show you that I personally like to use this melon ball scooper. And if I do 2 of these, 2 and maybe a little bit, it should be about 2/3 full, and that it gives us the 6. And then okay, so let's just do that. And then what we do is we take that little bit of chocolate chips that we have on the side, and then we're going to add that. I do 1 scoop at a time, and then I go back and do them again. And then we're going to add that to decorate the top. Da, 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 da. Oh, come on. That one's getting a little, I think we let it go a little bit. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to go back and do the second one, because I do about 2. Now, I do about 2.5 scoops of thing, but earlier it wasn't sticking as much, and that might be because everything was soaked, like the dates were really, really soaked. And so, yeah, so there we go. And we're just going to keep doing this until we fill the rest of it. Okay, and I can finish this later. What you're going to do is you're going to, let's do these. I like to put 3 on each, 3 chocolate chips. What if you want to do nuts? You could do nuts. You could do walnuts or a drizzle of peanut butter if you were into that. I just kind of wanted it to be chocolatey. I thought that would be fun. And if you are using one of these, which I really like using these little containers, this is really sticking right now for whatever reason. The reason why is because when it comes out of the oven, or if you have these that you can line, I'm just going to use this guy right now. You can line it with in here. It's nice because once it cools, you can give it like this with a spoon or whatever. But however you want to do it works. You can even use those paper ones. I just like these silicone ones. Okay, so however, let's say you have these and then you decorate it. Da, da, da. Now I'm pretending that we had, because we don't have enough time together to do the oven at the 350. And so what I have in here instead is the finished product. So let me move this aside. And what I will do is I will cook that once we are no longer together today. And so I just wanted to make sure that we could get together and be able to share. Look at these. Look at these. Now, I find that sometimes they come out a little crumbly, but my son said that he didn't think they were. And so, they're really, really, really good. I baked these. Now, my oven is a disaster. So 25 minutes is plenty of time to cook these, but I ended up going a little longer. I would say check them at the 15-minute mark and then, cook them until they're cooked through. I like to take a toothpick and kind of insert it. And if it comes out clean or mostly clean, depending if you hit a chocolate chip, then it should be good. Now, you want to let it cool and then enjoy. Before we taste this, I want you to know that those of you who are eating raw or you're interested in raw, I'm working on a raw version of these amazing muffins, and I'm going to be releasing it once it's ready. But that's for that is another great reason why you should subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't, because that's where you'll hear about it first. And to do that, you would go to thejenniferdiamond.com and sign up. We would love to have you on our list. Okay, so there you have it. Lentils are affordable, accessible, and incredibly good for your health. They're protein-packed, full of fiber and iron, right? Rich in essential nutrients and super versatile in the kitchen. And so I'm going to have Todd come up here and taste this. And then I want to check the chat and see if there are any other comments. And I'd like for you to share what you think in terms of how it looks,
They look
how
fantastic.
It smells.
They smell like chocolate.
They do.
I know.
They really do smell like chocolate. I don't smell any lentils here.
I don't. I smell chocolate muffin.
Okay, so I'm going to just show one more time how that looks. There we go. All right, so you want to take a whole one? You want me to cut you some? What do you want to do?
I would like to eat all 5 of them.
There's 6.
Well, I'm leaving one for you.
Oh, that's so kind. Okay, all right, go ahead. Do what you'd like.
I'm just going to take this one.
Okay, but they might be crummy, so come on forward.
Let's split this one.
Okay, go ahead. Break it in half. I'll take the small half.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
See, well, let's show inside here. The texture is really kind of.
It's very moist inside.
Very moist inside. I want to show this. See, and it's hard sometimes to see, but It's really, really moist inside. And I feel like maybe it's a little crummy. Yeah, it is a little crummy too. But you really got to let it cool all the way. All right, ready?
Ready?
Go ahead.
Do it. Very moist
Oh
inside.
my God, is that delicious?
Wow.
What do you think about eating lentils?
And then the rest of that's yours.
Oh my gosh.
That's super good. You would never eat that and think that that's made out of lentils.
It's not overly sweet
It's
either.
not.
Okay, so
It's not like sickeningly sweet.
no,
It's
it's
really
it's
good.
a very mild sweetness. So if it's something that's a little too it's not sweet enough for you, let's say, which I think it's perfect, you can always add another date if you wanted. But you can play around with it. I think it's plenty sweet. And so I just wanted to thank you. We did go over again a little bit. I appreciate your time, everybody. I just want to just scroll through the chat just quickly to make sure we didn't miss anything. Let's see.
I think we're good.
Okay, I see. Yeah, we said hi to Kiko. And vegan inconsistency said, no, I just lied down on the couch. I'm guessing that was for the dance party. Well, maybe you can watch the replay when you're ready and get up and move around if you like. Kiko, I will go water my garden and watch this later. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, yes, enjoy your garden. She has a beautiful garden. If you guys are not familiar with Kiko, you got to follow her channel as well. And she's all raw and is in Japan. And we've done some stuff together and it's really been a pleasure. So everybody, I just want to say, don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. We really, really appreciate your time today. We had so much fun. Thank you very much. Take care and we will see you next time. Bye for now.